So President Trump decided it was important enough to invite all of our military's top brass, all the admirals, the captains, the chiefs, the commanders, to one location so that him and his administration could give them a pep talk. Let them know how he was moving forward with the military. Now, one would think that inviting all of our military top men to one location would incite a national security risk, because there is no reason for the president and all the heads of the military to be in one particular location. And I say that because if someone decided to upend that meeting or infiltrate, this country would be in trouble. But that's beside the fact. What I'm here to talk about is the actual event itself. And I'm going to keep it short because the event was long. But we all know how Trump loathes crowd size, applause, reaction. And this meeting was nothing less than extraordinary. And not for the reasons that you might think. Even Trump wasn't expecting the type of reception that he got. Watch this.
Thank you very much, Pete. Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Oh, don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team. And I was told that, sir, you won't hear a murmur in the room. I said, we got to loosen these guys up a little bit. So you just have a good time. But I want to thank Secretary Hegseth.
What happened? Like, why was no one clapping? Because I think people are understanding what they're dealing with. It gets even worse. These men are stationed all around the world. As you know, we have military bases all over this planet. So some of these men have traveled over 10, 12 time zones just to get here to listen to this man speak. And this is what they were listening to.
The Joint Chiefs of Staff and so many others in this room who together represent the greatest and most elite fighting force in the history of the world, the United States military. We're very proud of our military. I rebuilt the military during my first term. It's one of the greatest achievements. We had the greatest economy in history, and I built the military. Those are the two things I say more than anything else. And I also kept us safe at the borders. We had very good...
And this.
Because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. Can't use either of them. Great speech. I don't want him to get so good. I hate that. You know? No, I hate it. I almost fired him. I said, you can't. I don't want to go on after that. No, he gave a great speech, but he talked about Department of War. We were sitting there. I said, didn't it used to be called the Department of War? And he goes, yes, sir. They changed it like in the early 50s. So we won the First World War. We won the Second World War. We won everything in between and everything before that. We only won. And then we went, in a way, woke. That was probably the first sign of wokeness. And we changed it to defense instead of war. And I said, what do you think? How do you think if we changed it back? Would that be a nice idea? And Pete loved it immediately. Some people thought about it. You know, they gave it a little thought. But in the end, we did it. And I have to be honest, it's so popular. I thought it would be met with fury on the left, but they're sort of giving up, I must be honest with you. They've had it.
And this.
The room, because what you're doing is not appropriate. The name is the Gulf of America. Google Maps changed the name. Everybody did, but AP wouldn't, and then we won in court. How about that? Isn't that so cool? The Secretary Hegseth beautifully described the name change reflects far more than the shift in branding. It's really a historic reassertion of our purpose and our identity and our pride. That's together over the next few years, we're going to make our military stronger, tougher, faster, fiercer, and more powerful than it has ever been before. I rebuilt our nuclear, as you probably know, but we'll upgrade that also and just hope we never have to use it. We have to hope we never have to use it, because the power of that is so incredible. I see things, I don't think they'd show it to you. I really wouldn't want them to show it to you. But when you see the result of what's left, you never want to use that. Never, never, ever.
And this.
Over the past 8 months, new enlistments, I'm so proud of this, have surged to record highs, the highest we've ever had. And we used to have recruiting shortages. If you remember, about a year and a half ago, I was at the beginning stage of a campaign, and things came out that you couldn't get people to join the armed forces. And by the way, the police also. Fire department, I always put the fire department in because they're great. They're great. And I got 95% of their vote, too. That helps. When you get 95% of their vote, you always have to mention them. But they're great. And they're brave in our inner cities, which we're going to be talking about, because it's a big part of war now. It's a big part of war. But the firemen go up on ladders, and you have people shooting at them while they're up on ladders. I don't even know if anybody heard that. And I said, don't talk about it much, but I think you have to. Our firemen are incredible. They're up on one of these ladders that goes way up to the sky, rescuing people, and you have animals shooting at them.
Now, to add insult to injury, Secretary of Defense, or Secretary of War, because that's what we're calling the department now. It's no longer the Department of Defense. It's the Department of War. They want to go back to some historical time and rehash that particular name up. But anyway, Pete Hegseth decided he wanted to give a powerful speech too. And I don't think that Pete Hegseth, at the end of his speech, was ready for the reception that he was given.
Go forth and do good things, hard things. President Trump has your back, and so do I. And you'll hear from him shortly. Move out and draw fire, because we are the War Department. Godspeed.
Room, attention.
So all of you that voted for this man and think that he's doing an incredible job, you have to admit to yourself, in a lot of our lifetimes, this country has never been in this state of societal chaos that it is right now. The enemy within are in the White House. And until next time.
You bring it heat on Truth Be Told.